everyone. My name is Ms. Connolly. I've been making videos at home for my students in math, and I decided to make them public during this quarantine time so anyone could learn. This is my first video not made for my students. It's for first grade. I had a mom reach out about addition, specifically about adding doubles for her student, and I wanted to show some strategies that are taught in first grade. Again, I don't teach first grade, I did teach second, so I'm going to do my best, but I hope it helps. And make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Let's get as many students learning as possible during this crazy time. And if these videos are helpful even after, that's great too. Any other questions, you can email connollymathathome@gmail.com, and I'll try to cover as many topics as possible while we're stuck here at home. So, addition within 20. So in first grade, one of the standards is that students are able to add and subtract within 20. So I'm going to stick to those numbers. And so I have two things set up here for you. We have a number line, and the only reason that they're alternating colors is because it was so squished together. So that's the only reason why. So parents don't need to alternate colors if you don't want to. I just had to do that because clearly the board is sideways. A lot of things are going on. So anyways, so we have the number line down here starting at 0 and ending at 20. The arrows represent that this number line can go on in both directions, just so you know. And then we have something that your student might be familiar with, and those are the 10 frames. And those are really important when we're thinking about strategies that we want first graders to know. And this was exciting for me to look at as a 5th grade teacher because the students still use these things when they're adding and subtracting even in 5th grade. So let's get started. All right, so let's talk doubles, okay? So if we have 7 plus 7, one strategy that the students are taught is in first grade, they're going to show all. So they might show 7, and then they might show 7 again. No, I want to plus in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they might show all and count all. So they might go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Don't do that. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So they might show all and then count all. Or they might say, I know I have 7, and then they might start counting on from there. So the more efficient strategy would be to count on. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we do want students to move towards the counting on. And then something else that they'll see is counting on a number line. So, and I'm sorry, this board is so tiny, so I'm going to try my best here, but when they start at 7, they're going to put 7 in their heads. When I taught 2nd grade, we put 7 in our head, and we didn't start counting until we did the jumps. So you put 7 in your head, and you start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So each jump represents plus 1. So 7 plus 1 is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So this is another way that we show students to practice counting on. So parents at home right now, you can get a long strip of paper, anything that works, and have your child practice putting 7 in their head and then counting on. If they're not using the number line, they can keep track on their fingers, they can draw the circles, or sometimes you see tallies, but what's really, really, really important is that they do not include 7 in their count. They start counting when they add, because this jump stands for plus 1. And even when students get into 5th grade, you see them still making that mistake when they count on, that they include 7. 7 plus 1 is not 7. 7 plus 1 is 8. So they have to do 7 in their head and then 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So if you're finding that your student is always one number off when they're counting on, that might be what to look for. Are they including that 7 in their count? Okay? So those are some strategies that they're practicing towards the beginning of the year. And we also start looking at numbers in the 10 frames. So we have our 10 frames up here. And I'm going to represent 7 in one of them. And I'm going to represent 7 in the other one. I'll do it in another color. Again, parents, right now, super easy to make at home. If you have your expo markers and page protectors, like the old school stuff we did for reports when we were little, you can put a 10 frame in there, just draw it, and then they can practice doing the 10 frames on paper. So if you're sitting with your child right now, you might want to pause and ask them what they notice. If you did that and now you're back, I'm wondering if they noticed that they see a group of 5 here and a group of 2 here, and the same thing is happening down here. They see a group of 5 and a group of 2. They also might have noticed that they need 3 to make a group of 10 in this first frame. And what we really want students to be thinking about is making these groups of 10. So, and we do this in 5th grade, so this is just so exciting for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to borrow 3 of the dots from here, and I'm going to place them up here so that we can make a group of 10 and then see what's happening. So let me get rid of these 3. I'm going to place them up here. And now your student might see that 7 plus 7 is the same as 7 plus 3 plus 4. Okay, let me model that on the number line. So what just happened was, we thought about how many dots do we need up here to make a group of 10, and we added 3. Then we knew that there was 4 more left to add. So we did 7 plus 3 is 10, and we added 1, 2, 3, 4 more. So your student probably knows their 10 buddies, all of the groups of 2 add-ins, 2 numbers that we add together to make 10. So they probably know 1 plus 9, 2 plus 8, 3 plus 7, 5 plus 5, 6 plus 4. They probably know all of those because they've been practicing them all year in 1st grade. So our goal is to get them from counting on, which is a great strategy, to being a little bit more efficient and realizing that 7 plus 7 is the same, that's what the equal sign means, is the same as 7 plus 3, which makes 10, plus the 4 more that are left over. Then they're starting at 10 and just counting on 4 more, instead of starting at 7 and counting on 7 more. So we really want to get them working towards making the groups of 10 and knowing what's left over to add. The 10 frames are a great way to practice this. They are going to start visualizing it and not having to actually move the dots, but I'm doing that as a visual to help you know what to teach them. Okay, so let's look at another situation that could have happened here with 7 plus 7, all the strategies. And when you're working with your student, it's just important to ask them, what do you see and what do you notice? And they might surprise you with what they're noticing, because we were taught to look at math one way when we were growing up. And now there's so many different ways, well not now, there always was, we just weren't taught that way. There's so many ways to see all of the things that are going on. So let's say we present your student with the 10 frames again, and we see 7 plus 7. They might recognize that they see 5 plus 2 and 5 plus 2. Okay, so let me write this down. 5 plus 2 plus 5 plus 2. And something that your 1st grader has been tackling this year is that order doesn't matter when we're adding. And we can take parts of this 7 and add it to parts of this 7, and we're still going to get the same sum. So then, they're probably not documenting it like this, I'm just showing you what's happening. Your student might say, well, I know 5 plus 5 is 10, and I know 2 plus 2 is 4, so I know that I have 10 plus 4. So let me model what they might be seeing. They might be seeing 5 plus 5 right here and right here. And then they might be seeing plus 2 more. And what you're noticing again is that they're finding that group of 10 and making it so that they can add numbers more easily. and that's a more efficient strategy than counting on by ones, but everything needs to come in order. So if they're still counting on by ones, that's fine, but now you know the next step to push them. Okay, so let's look at even another set of doubles. There's so many strategies just for this 1, 7 plus 7. I did not think this over. Erasing all of these. All right, so let's think about 9 plus 9. It's another double. And then we'll do one non-double, and then you'll have some idea of what your student was learning at school before we got trapped inside. All right, so we have 9 represented on one and 9 on the other. If your student has been practicing with subtraction, they might also be using a little bit of subtraction in this situation, but I'll go over that at the end. And if they are, that's really fun and flexible. I love that. All right, so when you have your student here, they might be drawing all. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They might be drawing all and counting all of them, which is great. The next thing that you would want to move them to is starting with 9 and counting on 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Like I was showing you earlier, on the number line, we want to keep 9 in our head and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and show that we're landing on 18. So when you put a number in your head and count on, it's called counting on. And that's a great strategy. But like I was saying, we really want to see students move towards finding those groups of 10 and using those to add efficiently. So maybe pause and ask your child, what are they noticing about the 10 frames and what strategy they might be able to use to solve this. And I'm going to erase this stuff while you do that. All right, so if we were trying to make a group of 10, your student might have just told you that they'd like to take this dot here and put it up there. So now that they've taken the first 9 that they had and they added 1, that made a group of 10. Then they might automatically know that this is 8 more left over and that they have to add 8. But it's totally fine if they like thinking about this as 5 plus 3, because that's going to get them to the same place as well. So if they wanted to do 9 plus 1 and make that group of 10, and then add the 5 here and the 3 here, that's one strategy. Okay, so if they started with 9, they made 10, then they might count on, they might say, some of our students already know that when we add 5 to 10, we'll automatically be at 15, and then they might go 16, 17, 18 to get where they want to be. So again, making the groups of 10, always searching for the groups of 10. The 10 frames are a great visual so that they can see what is left to add. Once they've taken the 1 dot from here and combined it with 9 to make a group of 10, the 10 frames is wonderful for them to see what is left over. And again, that was just something they've been practicing all year. So a great strategy. The one thing that I wanted to say, if your student was thinking about this, just an exciting thing. They might have said that they see 10 plus 10, which is 20, and say, but then I have to take away 2, 19, 18. So they might have said, well, this is almost 10 and this is almost 10, and I know how to add 10 plus 10 real easily. I know that's 20, and then they might have adjusted back 19, 18, and that's a fun strategy too, that you'll start to see your students be really flexible with numbers. Okay, so we'll do one more that's not a double. Sorry, you have to watch me erase each time. If it was in the classroom, I would have been a little more creative with my 10 frames here. Maybe have laminated it and drawn on them or done it on the computer screen. But anyways, so let's think about, I already used 7, so maybe let's do 6 plus 8. That one's always a tough one. All right, so again, your student might want to draw all 6 and draw 8 and count all of them, or they might want to count on. And since this isn't a double, I just want to push your students in the correct direction. If we're counting on, and we know that order doesn't matter in addition, guide them to think about which number we should start with when we're counting on. The 6 came first in the expression here, but 8 is a larger number. If I start with 8 and count on 6, it's less work. So we're always trying to push the students to be doing less work, be more efficient with math, that is. So I would say start at 8 and count on 6 more. As a review, you start at 8 and you don't start counting on until you've done the +1 jump. So this is 1, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then the jumps represent how much we added. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we landed on 14. Okay, so that's counting on, and they might want to, they can draw 8, 1, and then count on 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We are not asking a first grader to draw a number line, but if you have it available for them, that is something that will help them. All right, so let's talk about making 10 though. So all addition strategies are good. Let's represent what we have going on here. We have 6, and we have 8. And maybe your friend might want to represent it this way. And that's totally fine too. Okay? So they might have done that because they knew what's going on up here. So one thing that we might see is a student say, well, I know I need 4 more so to make a group of 10. So I'm just going to cross them off real quick. I'm going to take those 4 and place them up here. Well, doesn't make sense. I'll erase. So now we have a group of 10. So what did this student just do? They did 6 plus 4, which they know is 10, and then they can count on 11, 12, 13, 14. So making that group of 10 is really pushing them towards efficiency. So what just happened here? Sorry, plus 4. What just happened here? 6 plus 4. We got to 10. That's a buddy they know. They don't have to count on by ones here. That's something they have memorized. And then 11, 12, 13, 14. And that's what's happening. And soon they'll start to, if they haven't noticed already, that when we're adding 10 plus 4, it turns into 14. The 4 replaces the 0 in the ones place. So that's something they'll start noticing with more practice. But we don't always have to start that way. Maybe, this is another way to think about it, because order does not matter in addition. Everyone hear that at home? Order does not matter. All right. The other thing, my hands are going to be like 10 different colors today. The other thing is they might have said, well, I know that if I have 8 down here, I just need 2 more to make 10. So they might have started up this side. And that's what's great about math, is it's very flexible. You can do this many different ways. So they might have said, okay, let me start with 8 plus 2. I know that's a 10 buddy. I saw it that way. And then I know I have the 4 left up here. So what just happened here? 8 plus 2, they know is 10. There's not thinking going on. This is something that's memorized. And if it's not, that might be something you want to practice with them, the 10 buddies. I used to sing with 2nd grade. You know that song, everywhere we go, people want to know who we are. So they would repeat it, and I would say 1 plus 9 is 10, 1 plus 9 is 10, and then they would have to echo it. And then we would go back down and say 9 plus, all I know is order doesn't matter. And they would say, order doesn't matter. So that's a fun song that you can sing if they're still learning their 10 buddies. And hopefully, if you don't know what I'm talking about and you want me to sing the whole thing, just email me. I'll send you a recording so you can do it with them. All right, so anyways, they know 8 plus 2 is 10. There's not as much work going on because it's something they have memorized, and then they can count on 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have a couple different strategies. We have the showing all and counting all, and that's totally fine. That's what they learned first. And then we talk about counting on. We want to push them towards keeping one number in their head, And like I said, start with a larger number in your head so you have less work and count on. And then we have these 10 frames visual where they get to use what they know about making 10. And then we have them doing some automaticity here. 8 plus 2 is 10. I know there's 4 more left. Now I just have to count on 4. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope I didn't talk too fast if your kid was trying to watch. If you have any questions though, that's my email. If you got this link through Facebook and you want to message me on there, that's fine too. I hope it helped, and I hope that there's more videos coming. Let me know if there's anything you want me to cover for you. Thanks. Bye.